Manal Saad, Styles Just For You, returns to the podcast today. She's been on the show before. She's a Poshmark ambassador. She's spoken at Poshfests. She's a social influencer. She's a mathematician, and she has an interest in cuisine, particularly coffee and desserts, I saw, and I love both. On top of it all, she's got big news. Welcome back to the show, Manal, and thanks for coming back on.
Thank you. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Clara, for having me. I always love speaking with you and being connected to the reselling community. So I'm glad to be back.
Please take a moment to introduce it because in our audience, there might be some people that don't know you, but we know you in Poshmark community. We all know who Manal is. But please take just a moment to introduce yourself for those that don't know Styles Just For You. What and where you sell, please.
Hello, everybody, again. So my name is Manal. I'm Styles Just For You on Instagram with the little letter U. I've been a reseller for about 7 years now, and I resell on quite a few platforms. I started on Poshmark, which is a great place to start. If you're just getting into reselling, it's really easy to get started. And then slowly I've opened up to reselling on eBay and Mercari and Depop, and then Tradesy, which now turned into Vestier. And then throughout my reselling journey, I also try to stay connected on social media, which is where my handle comes in, Styles Just For You.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
And I know I've asked you this before, but this is always one of my favorite questions. So, how did you come up with the name Styles Just For You?
Yeah, so as I was getting into reselling, I just started thinking about, because I started on Poshmark, what the platform means. And Poshmark was very into styling and being a personal stylist where you can like send comments and let people, hey, tell me what you're into and I'll help create that outfit for you. So it kind
Wow.
of sprouted from me shopping and then starting out on Poshmark. So I'm like, hey, I'm into styling and then let's make it a little personal. So that's where my username started, Styles Just For You.
So, how did you get to know Poshmark? How did you get started, Poshmark? How did that come to you?
I feel like it was an accident, which is like the case for a lot of people. I was trying to just spring clean. In my case, it was winter cleaning. And then just like somehow on the internet, I saw like a different platforms. And then I'm like, ooh, Poshmark seems like a fun one
Uh,
where it would be like kind of a social platform and not really a business. So I'm like,
yeah.
let me start doing that. And that's kind of how I discovered Poshmark. And then you kind of fast forward all these years and you're like, whoa, time just flies by.
Incredible. No, Poshmark, an incredible aspect, the first social marketplace to come within a different approach. And I can see why that was such a determining factor for you to feel comfortable reselling, because reselling is not that easy, but certainly Poshmark made it very easy.
So, live sales are huge right now, Posh Lives especially. Are you selling live? Are you doing Posh Lives? And are you selling live on any other sites?
Yeah, so I'm only selling Posh Live on Poshmark, but I love it. I actually started out the first week that they had it in October 2022 during the beta testing, and I
Yeah.
just got hooked. It's a lot of fun. It definitely takes a little bit of time to get used to. Probably my advice for new sellers that are going live on Poshmark is to definitely stay connected with the reselling community because they have a lot of tips. Also, just like regular sales, Posh Lives still also take a lot of work. So you have to
Yeah.
commit, put in the hours. So what I
Yes.
like to do before a show is, for
Uh-huh.
example, I reach out to buyers from the previous week, let them know when my next shows are. Another tip for Posh shows that I would have for everybody is to try
Yes.
to create a consistent schedule for their shows. So maybe you want to do it every Monday at 8 p.m. That way people remember,
Mm,
oh, okay, this
consistency.
person, yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like
Mm,
when you go to a specific class or you have a meeting at the same time every week, you never forget
mhm.
it. So when you're just sitting around, you're like, oh, but this person has their show Monday at 8, or my
Yeah.
case, it was Sundays at 9 a.m. So
Yeah.
just that consistency, reaching out and creating the following, and then having fun with those live shows.
That's the thing with consistency and marketplaces and reselling. It's almost like listing, right? If you list once in a blue moon, 100 listings versus listing consistently, right? That gives you another different result. So that makes sense, man. Words of wisdom. There you have it.
Exactly. It all ties together. So you list consistently, you have your shows, you reach out to the buyer. It's
Mhm.
all a part of the circle of reselling.
Do you think, for example, of that feature? There is a feature in Poshmark in which I can promote your closet. I can't remember it, but what do you think about that, or your lives? What is your input on that?
Oh, yeah. So there's a few people that are doing live shows where it's a collective show with a few resellers. So what that
Uh,
means is instead of selling your own items in a show, you can sell your items plus some of your friends' items. So what's fun about that is if you're just getting started and then maybe you need a little bit of help or you don't have enough items
uh,
to sell, then some of your friends can share their items to your show and then their items will be sold during your show as well, and they'll get a
uh-huh.
notification so they can set their like auction bid and their time.
Wow.
So yeah, it'll be like a collective show with you and your friends or you and some resellers that you know.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm glad that I asked. I'm so curious, and I want to share with our audience also. If you try the Posh Lives and something doesn't sell, correct me if I'm wrong, Manal, but I believe you have the capacity within Poshmark. You have a feature in which you can convert that into a regular listing, right?
Yeah, of course. So if something wasn't already listed in your closet, you can list it on the spot. Something else that's really cool about live shows is if you
Uh,
run something and it doesn't sell in the moment, you can
yeah.
still try to rerun it in 20 minutes or at the end of your show because maybe that buyer wasn't there in the beginning, but you have a new audience 30 minutes later. And now
Uh-huh.
that buyer's, oh, I do want that dress and it sells. So you can
Uh-huh.
always try to re-auction it as many times as
Wow.
you want in the
Oh, in
beginning
the
and the
same
end of the
in
show.
the same live session.
Yeah, you can re-auction the same item.
Now, any advice for those getting started in Poshmark now?
Yeah, so just getting started on Poshmark, maybe it's your first few weeks.
Mm,
Usually, my first advice is to find that small community. So maybe
mm,
go on social media or even on Poshmark and connect with those ambassadors. Create a little group for yourself because
uh-huh.
there's so many advice and tips out there. And let me tell you, they're all free and everybody wants to help. So surround yourself with people that maybe have been there for a while and that can guide you. And then set
Mhm.
small goals for yourself. I think probably the first step is not to look at a seller that's been selling for 7, 8 years because it's going to take you more than a month to get there, right? We don't just,
Yeah,
I wish we all just skipped a few steps on the ladder, but it takes a little bit of time, but with the right guidance, we can go a little faster. But to try to set smaller goals for yourself of, okay, where am I starting and what do I want to do with my reselling? Am I just doing this as a hobby? Am I spring cleaning? Do I want to eventually take this and open up a boutique and do this full time? So set those smaller, maybe like weekly, monthly goals, and then maybe where you want to see yourself in the end of the year. And then
yeah.
also use that community, tap into it and reach out and say, hey, this is my plan. What do you think I need to get there? And we're all here to help.
You've shared some great tips so far, but you also do that on your social media. So I love your Tuesday tips. So for those that don't know, on your Instagram, you share these little tips on Tuesdays. Can you tell us about those, please?
Yeah, I recently started this maybe a few months ago. It's been a little longer now, but I try to stay consistent and do a Tuesday tip every Tuesday. These are things that I've came across reselling that usually at one point I'm like, this is really helpful. And I wish I knew that year one, year two. And I'm still always learning years down the line. And it doesn't hurt to share it and tell other people because when I grow, other people grow, and really all the platforms are growing together.
Yeah,
So usually if I find something that I feel like it would be helpful or maybe something that works for me and someone can recomment and make it even better, then I
yeah.
share it. Sometimes these tips are for either one platform specifically or sometimes they're tips in general. For example, a tip that I recently shared on Tuesday is I have a 3 times communication rule on my platforms. So
Okay.
when someone purchases something from me, I try to reach
Yes.
out 3 times, usually congratulating them on their sale. And then maybe a
Nice.
day or two later when I've shipped them out to just let them know it's in transit. And then when
Uh-huh.
they leave a rating or it's when it's arrived, just thanking them for their rating. And I hope like they like their purchase. So just
Yeah.
kind of having that 3 times communication rule
Yeah.
builds that relationship maybe with a buyer. They're more likely to come back. Or
Yeah.
even if they don't come back, they're more likely to refer your page to someone they know.
Okay, but you have a big move coming up. Can you please tell us about it?
Yeah, so
I
it's
promise
a
not to
little
cry. Okay, get your audience, get your tissues,
I
okay?
know, we're
Because
gonna hold it together. It's a little bittersweet, but I'll be getting married this summer, and my fiance and I decided that we're gonna relocate and live in Qatar. He currently works there now, and I've been applying to some jobs aside from maybe being in the reselling community.
uh,
So we're looking and we're planning to be relocating this July. So I'm excited because it's a very fun time in my life, but
oh,
also I'm gonna miss
congratulations.
everyone. Thank you.
That's gonna be a big change. Now, I'm curious, do you, with this big change, okay, you've been so many years here in USA. Do you think this will be permanent? Will you come and visit maybe as a tourist? Will you miss us?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna come back and visit. My family lives here, my immediate
Oh,
family. Yeah, so don't worry, I'm gonna be
okay,
back.
we got Manal people. There you go, audience. Okay, Manal is coming back to visit us.
Yeah, and eventually we want to relocate back here, but I think for the
Oh,
time being, for the first few years, we're going to be relocating. I know it's halfway across the globe, but it's a really popping region. The economy is doing really well. It's a
yeah.
very safe area. So it's going to be a good move for our small little family in the next few years, and then we'll see. You never know down the line.
Yeah, and congratulations on the marriage and the move. That's awesome. Big
Thank you,
life
Doug.
changes, but that's a good thing too.
Yes.
So we are curious though, will you continue to sell and post on social after the move, or you're going to see how it goes?
I think for the maybe the first few months in transitioning, I won't be reselling just because the region is a little bit different.
Yeah.
So currently, most of the platforms that work in the US or maybe that work in US, Canada, even Poshmark's open in Australia, they're not currently open in Qatar.
Yeah.
So first few months, it's going to be a little hard to continue. So probably I'll be stopping reselling this summer. Does that mean that reselling is out of the question forever? No, because I've been doing it for so long, but it's just going on pause for the time being. But
Yeah.
I'm still going to be on social media. I'm going to be on my
Oh.
Instagram, Styles Just For You, always posting, whether it's reselling or maybe a little more shifting to lifestyle, travel, food. As
Mm.
you mentioned, Doug, earlier, I have a lot of different hobbies. So we'll try to see how we can connect reselling, fashion, and a little bit of the other things that I love. But I'll
Oh.
definitely be on Instagram for everybody to reach out. And even if I'm not reselling, I'm always available if anyone needs help or just to look at their page or to watch their show. So I'll be
Yeah.
there to support everybody.
So you're saying that you're gonna be combining your food, fashion on your social media. You gave us a little teaser now? That's so exciting. Does that mean, okay, that then we're gonna have a chance to see you cooking or maybe sharing food? Is it gonna be cooking? Maybe you're tasting food, you're showing us food from different places, you're traveling. Can you elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, over the years, I've been really active on social media and on Instagram and trying to connect my reselling and fashion life with a little bit of other hobbies that I like food and cooking and traveling. So, my plan, at least for the next few months, this summer and maybe till the end of the year, is to just stay active on social media and to try to combine a little bit of everything. So, you'll be
Uh-huh.
able to find my travel adventures and obviously mixing a little bit with my obsession with desserts and food and coffee and mixing a little bit of fashion, which is what I've learned in reselling over the few years. So you can definitely still follow my journey and I'll be on social media.
Awesome.
What's your favorite dessert?
Favorite desserts? Ugh, I feel like I like them all. I like anything sweet, fruity, like a good tiramisu, macaroons,
Mm.
yesterday I actually just had a really great passion fruit tart and it was just so tangy. It was delicious.
So another one of your loves, Manal, is math. Math, metrics, analytics. You teach
Yeah.
math. You presented at Poshfest a couple of years back on metrics and analytics and why sellers should be using those. And it's so interesting to me because I know that so many sellers have these metrics and analytics available on all these different platforms, including listperfectly, that a lot of them don't use or aren't aware of. So I think that when you move, you might be teaching math in Qatar. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, after a few months of interviewing in the middle of the night because of the 11-hour time difference, I officially got a job teaching at a university as a full-time math lecturer. So,
Awesome.
yeah, I'll be doing that. It's going to be a little similar to what I was doing here, but in a
Yeah.
new region. So that's going to be my full-time job. And then I'm always on the lookout for a little side business or some fun activities. So I'm hoping to also incorporate in the future my love
Yeah.
for fashion and food and traveling and social media. But yeah, I'll be, as my first move to Qatar, I'll be teaching math and then doing a little bit of what I love on the side as well.
Manal, you have something special to share with us about Camp Listing Party. Could you please elaborate on that?
Yeah, I'm super excited. It's coming up end of June, and I may or may not be seeing some of you in a form or another, but I'm super excited and everyone's going to have a lot of fun.
I can't wait what we have ready for our incredible community in Camp Listing Party. And that's a teaser. There you have it. What's going to happen? What will Manal
Wait
do?
and find out and see.
Gotta find out in Phoenix, June 27th, June 28th, and Phoenix, Arizona, camplistingparty.com.
And that tease is very mysterious, like math to many of us.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that because it's an incredible opportunity. We can't wait to see in your social channels. Styles just for you, okay? And we want to follow your journey and your updates.
Yeah, and we'll definitely keep in touch. And again, yeah, excited to see what you'll be sharing and what you'll be bringing back when you come to visit. Maybe some advice on the underground subway system for California. We need something for sure. So as we close up, anything to add, Manal?
I just wanted to say thank you, Doug and Clara, for having me here. And I cannot wait to see Camp Listing Party in Arizona at the end of June and to always stay connected with everybody. Again, I'll still be on Instagram at Stylesjustforu. So even though I'm moving different chapters of my life, I'm still going to be connected with the community and I'm still going to be available. And hopefully everyone can still follow my journey and I get to see and connect with everybody as well.
Oh, thank you so much, Manal. You have been such a supporter of listperfectly and the crazy projects that Amanda and I we get involved. And thank you so much for be a true supporter. Okay. You were there from the beginning. It means a lot. People like you, okay, make a big difference in small businesses. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Clara, for having me.
Of course. And thanks for coming on. Third timer. We should send you a jacket or something.
Yes.
Congrats on the wedding. Congrats on the move and on the new teaching position. And we will definitely keep in touch.
Thank you.